Welcome to TV Africa News. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahabika Jur, but first are the headlines. Ugandan opposition party signs pact with president. Government pledges support towards small and medium enterprises. A section of DP members claim they were not consulted on the agreement with President Museveni. Kenyan-born Jerutorians steeplechase gold for Kazakhstan. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. Ugandan President Museveni has signed a cooperation agreement with the leader of an opposition party and former challenger, Norbert Mao. We have the report. The pact between the ruling National Resistance Movement Party and the Democratic Party was signed on Wednesday following a meeting between the two leaders at State House in Entebbe. President Museveni praised leaders of Democratic Party for the gesture of mature, foresighted and constructive politics. Mr. Mao has been leader of the opposition party since 2010. He stood out for his eloquence and anti-establishment stance, but the party has suffered internal divisions for several years, which has led to a significant drop in public appeal. Ahead of the 2021 general election, he lost several party leaders to the newly formed National Unity Platform. Mr. Mao's backers will see this development as smart bipartisanship, but critics will feel vindicated after accusing him of causing up to Mr. Museveni. Other critics could also see this as another attempt by the president to weaken the opposition further. Previously, he has successfully wooed opposition politicians by offering them positions in government. Those who remain in the opposition face an increasingly limited political space to operate in. Away from that, micro, small and medium enterprises have been urged to tap into the available poverty alleviation funds to expand their businesses. Now, speaking during the ongoing MSMEs Week at Uma Multipurpose Hall in Lugogo, the Minister of Trade, Harriet Nantabazi, revealed that the government has put in place a number of programs to benefit the business community, yet these funds remain unutilized. Take a look at the story.
The COVID-19 pandemic greatly affected all aspects of the economy, but micro, small and medium enterprises were hit the most. Despite the full reopening of the economy early this year, many MSMEs are still struggling to regain ground. Now these have been advised to utilize the available COVID-19 Recovery Fund, among other government funds like Emyoga, to expand their businesses.
Tulina ne ssente endala ezitwateeka mu myoga okulaba nti abantu abamu abakola ekintu ekifaanagana beeyuna wamu ne bafuna ssente zaabwe ne bakola ekintu kyabwe mu butuufu, abahoteri, abasaluni, abaki. Kati abasigalidde bajja kubenefitinga mu bajeti yaffe y'eggwanga. Abo bwe baba basigalidde ate ku ssente ziri mu Ministry of Finance under Microfinance Support Center. Abo nabo nazo ziri eyo bilioni 50 nazo nga zisupportinga ababizinesi abatonotono.
Ntabazi also urged MSMEs to embrace proper packaging and branding of their products, as well as making sure that their products are compliant with the international standards to ensure they compete favorably on the international and regional markets.
Sometimes we blame government when the challenge is ours, the business people. How do you brand yourself? How do you set yourself? How do you position yourself to be the one on top of others?
John Walgembe, the chairperson of the Federation of Small and Medium Enterprises, explains that the MSMEs Week is part of the COVID-19 recovery strategies of the MSMEs, which constitute over 90% of Uganda's economy.
We have spent 2 years talking about the impact of COVID. Yes, we still are dealing with the challenges, and now we have issues of high inflation. But as a federation, we want to work with government and other entities to show you the path to recovery. So here we have the Civil Society Budget Advisory Group, Advocacy Group, we have CRTINI, we have IRRC, we have Oxfam, we have different organizations that support SMEs, and the objective is that these organizations should handhold you and show you how you can recover from the pandemic.
Dozens of SMEs are showcasing their products at ongoing MSMEs Week at Uma Multipurpose Hall in Lugogo. The exhibition will end on Saturday, 23rd July 2022.
Moving on in the top stories, a section of Democratic Party leaders from Kampala district have accused DP President General Norbert Mao of hypocrisy for signing a cooperation agreement with President Uganda Museveni. More details in this report.
Yesterday, news circulated on various media platforms indicating how President Yoweri Museveni and the opposition Democratic Party DP President General Norbert Mao have signed a cooperation agreement, with the latter stressing that it will be enjoyed most by the unborn children, as he urged the NRM chairman to gather patriots that are scattered all over the country and other political parties. This has attracted attention from all corners of the country, with others calling it a move of wiping out opposition in Uganda, as earlier promised by President Museveni after the 2021 general election. While addressing journalists in Mengo, Kampala, Sentongo Sharif Nambale, the DP chairman, Kampala district, asked President Mao to desist from addressing himself as president of DP after he has proved himself to be a hypocrite.
For a long time, we have accepted to die with the interests of Ugandans. As DP Kampala district, we are warning with immediate effect President Norbert Mao, now a former president, not to ever address himself as a president. Come what may, we shall fight for the interest of the what? Of the Ugandans. The man and his flower girl, Siranda, decided to betray the interest of Ugandans because of selfish interests. There are reasons why we have been quiet for a long time. We have urged Norbert Mao to behave like a leader.
He further urged DP branch leaders to distance themselves from Mao and Siranda, saying these have decided to betray Ugandans over their own selfish interests.
We are going to launch now a brigade to work on him. Very soon we are inviting you as the press. We are launching a brigade that is going to deal with him, because the man has proved to be a hypocrite of the highest order. We have always told Ugandans that for us we shall stand for the interests of Ugandans.
Sentongo also promised to launch a brigade that will deal with Norbert Mao and his colleagues.
Well, thank you so much, reporter Ahumuza. We take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In international news today, the UK High Commissioner to Rwanda, Omar, has disowned a memo sent to the Home Office advising against any asylum deal with the country. More details in this report. The memo had criticized Rwanda's human rights record and heavy-handed security, according to documents from the Home Office presented to court by lawyers for those challenging the policy. On Wednesday, Mr. Dyer said that memo was written by his predecessor 2 months before he began in the post. There have been media stories regarding their partnership with Rwanda and documents written in February and May 2021. He became High Commissioner in July 2021. Britain announced in April an agreement with Rwanda to send some of its migrants there for processing instead, but no one has yet been found out because of a series of legal challenges. Away from that, technology giant Meta has taken down thousands of posts targeting Kenyan users on its social media platform Facebook for violating its policies ahead of the August elections. Take a look at the story.
Facebook now says in a new report that it has pulled down more than 37,000 posts for promoting hate speech and 42,000 for violating its violence and increment policies in the 6 months leading up to 30th April. The firm also says it has rejected 36 political adverts for not complying with its transparency rules. Facebook says it has partnered with independent fact-checkers in Kenya to debunk misinformation ahead of the August polls. Its Director of Public Policy for Eastern Horn of Africa, Masendegwa, says they have enhanced controls on their platforms that will make it easy to identify and remove content that would lead to election-related violence.
Moving on, African leaders will meet President Joe Biden in Washington in mid-December for the first major summit organized by the U.S. for the continent. Take a look at the story. A statement from President Biden said the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit, scheduled for 13th to 15th December, will understand the importance of U.S.-Africa relations and increased cooperation on shared global priorities. President Biden has not visited any African country since becoming president, but has hosted several leaders from the continent, including President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya and South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa. Last week, Mr. Biden met Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in Jeddah. Analysts believe the meeting is part of American efforts to counter the growing influence of China in Africa and, more recently, inroads made by Russia in the continent. Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with business, health, and sports. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Talking matters business, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has defended his government's decision not to give subsidies or reduce taxes in the wake of a sharp rise in the cost of living. Now, he was addressing the nation in a televised speech on Wednesday night amid high fuel prices and food shortages in some parts of the country. More details in this report.
Mr. Museveni said subsidies mislead people to think that there was plenty and would deplete the country's foreign reserves. He said tax cuts would also lead to the stalling of infrastructure projects. Museveni also warned that the price of fuel was likely to remain high even after the Russia-Ukraine war. He said the way forward would be to begin the move away from petrol to electric cars and rail transport. Mr. Museveni urged Ugandans to explore a variety of other foods available like cassava and millet amid the high cost of wheat. His stance is a sharp contrast against measures that other countries in the region have taken. Neighboring Kenya announced on Wednesday a fifth stimulus package on food subsidies to caution its citizens against the cost of living, while the Tanzanian government announced $43 million fuel subsidy in May. In Uganda, the cost of fuel has shot up from $1 last year to $2 in some parts of the country. A kilogram of maize flour is retailing at almost $1 from $0.47.
In Africa Today Health, using recycled plastic, it is the first company in East Africa to design and manufacture eyewear. They also use other locally available materials like cow horns, bamboo, and offcuts from clothes like jeans, and they produce custom-made frames. More details in this report.
It is a source of pride for Jioteng Ocheng Dabukie, the co-founder of CMO. Eyewear frames that people wear are not for their facial features. They are mostly made for the European and Asian facial features. So you find that when Ugandans wear their glasses, over time they began to squeeze them. They begin to get marks here. The glasses fall. But Wise here in Uganda is the first company to design and manufacture eyeglasses that are fit for African facial features. The team has now embarked on a designer line of frames for those who can afford them as it scales into other African countries.
In a sports news today, Kenyan-born runner Nora Jerito has won the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase at the World Championships in Oregon, United States.
She received a standing ovation from the crowd as she finished the race, her first global title for her opted nation of Kazakhstan and a championship record. Her time of 8 minutes and 53.2 seconds is the third fastest ever achieved. Earlier South African runner Caster Semenya took part in the 5,000 meters event, her first major championship since 2018. Her naturally high testosterone level means she is disqualified from her preferred middle distances.
Well, thank you so much for being a low audience from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep giving you the updates. It is TV Africa, the right to know.